Info Ninja. Welcome back to the dojo, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Always a pleasure to be deep inside you. Deep inside your ears, you sickos. You sickos. Well, I've got some big news for you. I don't know if you've heard it or not yet. I guess it's maybe little news. It's small, big news might be the best way of describing it. But before we get to that, let's get to sharing this show. If you would right now, hit the share button, send it out to all your friends on X. We are at Info Ninja Show on X. You can find us on YouTube at Info Ninja Show. We are on Rumble, True Social, and anywhere you can find a podcast, but nobody's going to find this podcast. We're not quite big enough yet. The algorithm is fighting us unless you hit that share button. So share it with a friend, hit the like button, leave us a comment. Let's get to it.
Let's get ready to rumble!
So the big little news. Let me start with this. Imagine for a second that you're a business owner, okay? You make some fine products that are loved by many people. You make cookware, okay? You are a pot dealer. You deal in pots that you cook in. And let's say that one of your pots cost you $5 to make. After all your production cost, I mean, you're looking at insurance, you're looking at electricity, how much you pay your employees, how much you pay for their benefits, and ultimately the cost of making this one pot is $5 to you. But when you sell it for $50. That's a $45 profit per pot that you sell. That's a pretty awesome profit margin. You should make more of that pot. That should be your primary focus, is producing that pot. Now, let's say you have a second pot and that pot cost you $10 to make and you make $20 off of it. So you basically double your production cost. This is still a good product to make. You should stick with it. It's not as good as the $50 pot that cost you $5, but hey, making something for $10 and then turning around and getting 20 out of it, that doubles your profits. So not a bad thing. But your third pot that you sell, this pot costs you $15 to produce. So your most expensive pot, $15 to produce, and when you sell it, you can only sell it for $11. You are taking a loss. So if you are a business owner and you have one pot that's making you 50, you've got another pot that's making you 10, and then you've got a third pot that is losing you money every single time you produce it, what do? You stop producing that pot. It makes sense. It's exactly what a responsible business owner would do. And that's a small business. If you were a large business, you would have what's known as a fiduciary responsibility, meaning if you were a publicly traded company, you have a responsibility to get rid of that third pot. Your shareholders know that it's losing you money. You have a fiduciary responsibility to make the most money. So if you think of our government as one big business, the President of the United States is the owner/leader of that business, and he has a fiduciary responsibility to the shareholders, i.e. the taxpayers, us American citizens that actually pay taxes. He has a responsibility to not sell that product anymore because it's losing us money. Well, a department, a program within the United States that literally has a license to produce money. I've heard many businesses, especially the ones online, they try to get you to sign up, learn how to sell Amazon products. You have a license to print money with this. That's kind of like a catch-all phrase to get people sucked in. But it's the truth with the U.S. Mint. They literally have a license to make money. Well, last year, the U.S. Mint lost $85 million. To be exact, it was $85.3 million on the production of the penny. Do you still use pennies? Put it in the comments. I rarely use a penny. I'm normally paying with my card everywhere that I go, and I rarely have to, break out change and throw 2 cents into it, but it still does happen, but I don't use pennies very often, and I bet you don't either. I bet you have a car full of pennies. I bet your center column is so full of pennies that you don't even know how many are in there. I bet your couch cushions at home are full of pennies, and you don't know how many are in there. Now, think about this. Think if a penny had the same value as a $100 bill, and you had a car full of them, you would know exactly how many $100 bills you have in the center column of your car right now. But you have no idea how many pennies you have because it really doesn't have much value. 1 cent, right? Well, every single time the U.S. Mint produces the 1 cent penny, it costs them 3.7 cents to produce. That is a bad pot, folks. That is a pot that if we keep producing as a country will keep losing us money consistently. So the president, with his fiduciary responsibility, made a decision. And this is actually, it goes back to February, but I didn't catch it until right now. He decided to stop the penny.
You shall not pass!
That's right, the United States of America, the U.S. Mint is no longer producing new pennies. Now, he can't eliminate the penny from circulation, like no chance of a penny in the future, because only Congress can do that, but he can tell the Secretary of the Treasury to work with the Mint and tell them, do not produce any new pennies. Now, before you say, how could he do that? He's just doing that to be the guy that did it. Okay, it's the penny. People love the penny. You collect the penny, right? Actually, we've done this before in the history of America. So most people don't know, but back in 1857, we had a half penny. And years before that, we had a half-cent coin. And this was back when things cost 2 or 3 cents, and it made sense, literally, to have a half a penny. But eventually, by 1857, it wasn't getting used anymore. It wasn't in people's center columns of their cars at that point. It was probably in the center column of their chariot, of their horse and buggy, and they weren't using the half pennies. So it was eliminated by Congress in 1857, and our beloved penny may be coming to that place very, very soon. Again, Trump cannot stop the penny forever, but he can tell them to stop producing it. The next president could come along and go, hey, start making the penny again, unless Congress acts. Now, Congress can choose what size the penny is, what metal it's made of, what appears on it, and they can choose to stop it. But the president in the interim has asked the Mint to stop producing it. So I guess the moral of this story is save your pennies. A penny saved is a penny earned, because soon these things might be collector's items. And when I mean soon, I mean like in 100 years, because obviously we all have a lot of pennies right now. But how many half pennies do you have in the center column of your car? How many half pennies have you ever seen or held in your hand? The answer is probably zero. Finito. It's never happened because they're out of circulation. They're very rare, and they are worth way more than a half a penny right now. So save your pennies. They may be collector's items in about 100 years. Your grandkids or maybe your great-grandkids can take advantage of your saving right now. So I'm impressed with this decision. Doge is the one who saw how much it was costing to make the pennies. And next, it may be the nickel, because this one is going to blow your mind too. Every nickel that the Mint produces is worth 5 cents, but it cost us taxpayers 14 cents to make a nickel. That is another bad pot, people, and we got to stop making bad pots if we want our business to stay open. So again, I'm impressed with this. Kudos to President Trump. Kudos for Doge for doing this. And I guess he's really sticking to his campaign promise. He was going to save America money, even if he does it 1 penny at a time. Hi-yow! Info Ninja. If you liked what you heard, please give me a thumbs up, a comment, and a share. You can find us on X at Info Ninja Show, on Rumble, Truth Social, YouTube, and of course, anywhere podcasts are sold.